where I'm making my little poofies, my choker, and my leg thingy. So here I just kind of measured out what I thought would work best for my choker. Excuse me. Right there I measured my the length that I wanted my little leg garter to be, and then I did the width the best I could think of. I would recommend actually going around your leg and not just kind of sillily just think of what it should be. I also measured the length for my arm poofs to the measurement I wanted them. Ooh, Fester. Now, I did this, I put some interfacing on for my choker just to make it a bit more stiff and not kind of ruffled down, if that makes sense. That kind of happened with my other stuff too. I did this also with my leg garter just to make it to where it wouldn't ruffle, if that makes sense. I also am putting on a layer of lining just so the interfacing doesn't kind of rub on my body or my neck and everything, and it's uncomfortable. I talked about this in my shirt video, so yeah. If it is not already up, by the way, I redid my shirt because my other one started to come apart and it was a little bit uncomfortable, so yeah. I'll put a link in the description of my new shirt video whenever I decide to make it. Here I am doing that ladder stitching thing, just so everything stays together and I don't have to worry about everything coming apart while I'm sewing. Then just sew along the edges. Remember to leave a few inches out for sewing this, because you don't want to sew directly onto the pink because this will end up making it fray and everything. I didn't worry too much about sewing it in, if that makes sense. You know, folding it and sewing. Because I was just going to put the red trimming on, so I thought, why bother doing that? Now that I look at it this way, I should have done that to keep it from fraying. But, you know, you live, you learn. Right there I was trimming off the ladder stitches because I finished everything, and I also am trimming off the excess fabric. Right here I am measuring my red fabric and everything, so, and I am also looking out for Festers because he likes to eat this stuff. When sewing this, remember to do a round stitch, I believe that is what it's called, because you can't directly sew this on with a sewing machine because it's kind of difficult to do that. I also stab into the little rope that's holding the feathers and all together, just as like an extra securance, but I do that every once in a while. Like, I do about 2 or 3 round stitches and then I will sew into it. Right here I'm sewing everything together. This is actually my first attempt at my arm poofs. That didn't really work out the way I wanted, so yeah. This is one way you can make your arm poofs if you don't like the first way. You can just sew on elastic and sew on your red trimming if you're doing it this way. I personally didn't like that, so I went with a different route. I ended up folding in my little thingy, kind of like when you're making a circle skirt, to have the little waist lining thing. I put it on my leg just to give it the impression of it being on my arm. Of course, I could have just probably gotten like a tube or something, but you know, you live, you learn. So yeah, just sew on your stuff. I feel like doing the little scrunchy part of it better like this, to do it, you know, thread elastic through instead of sewing elastic on, just because it gives it more of that ruffly look, as you can tell. You can either do this method or the sewing the elastic on method. It's whichever you prefer though. If you do this by using your leg to sew it on, please, please, please be careful not to hurt yourself. I ended up stabbing myself a few times, but I'm used to sharp objects puncturing my legs. Cough, cough, my cats. As you can tell right here, I'm actually lifting up some of my fabric from my little pocket for my elastic. I'm doing this just because I don't want to actually sew my elastic. This is to prevent my elastic from staying in one place and not being able to stretch like it's supposed to. Doing that will end up making you break either, or maybe breaking your stitching and removing all of your red stuff. Sorry, it's the middle of the night. I'm so tired. Right here I'm sewing on the trimming for my choker. I kind of trimmed this a bit, so it might look a little weird right now. As you can see, my arm poof's not even done yet either. That's actually my second one. The reason why I trimmed this one is because you couldn't see much pink, so I thought why not trim it just a bit to where you can still see some pink, but it also looks a bit floofy. This kind of worked in my favor a bit because it gave it that more of like a raspy, furry looking effect, if that makes sense. Right there, which kind of makes me look like I'm being a woodpecker or something. This is me kind of pushing out my the little floofy stuff, so it's not all bunched up and you could see the little circles. I also used my cat's brush to brush it out as well. I am now adding some clamps to make it into like a little collar choker. Just last time I used like little strap thingies, but I decided to just go with a little choker one. Just because it kind of made it easier, if that makes sense too. here is like a test I did to make sure it looked okay. So that's what it looks like. And that's what it looks like with my little pendant. Yay! So this is me now actually measuring the length of my leggy. I already sewn, or almost sewn everything. I cut out everything and I'm now doing that ladder stitching. Okay, so that's everything done. Just so you know, I can't find my camera stand, so I'm having to hold my camera for now. So I have all my thingies done. My choker, my arm hoops, and my leg thingy. I'm redoing my gloves, just the bottom part here, because I didn't like how the thingies were sticking out. So I'm just going to show my finished gloves at the beginning of the skirt thing. The reason why I'm doing that is because this video needs to be posted as soon as possible. Because it's way overdue. So yeah, so stay tuned and I'm going to show you how you can keep, if you do have a pendant like this, the toy pendant. I will show you how you can attach it to your thingy without having to choke yourself by trying to keep it on. So here it is. Okay, so like I said, what I practically did, as you can see, it looks normal, like the pendant is just kind of attached to it. When you flip it over, it is secured by three, I don't remember what those are called now, safety pins. They're held by 3 safety pins. One's on the, sorry, I don't have good lighting right now. One's being held up by poking the necklace thing right here, and I just kind of looped it through and then held it to where this can go through. And the same on this side. So that's how you can attach your pendant to your collar. Okay, so anyway, here's all my stuff done, like I said. So like, comment, and subscribe if you want it. You don't have to, it just helps the channel. So